I'm doing guitar setups, I get asked to do nut reseating. Sometimes the nut just flies off when I'm doing work, and sometimes it's been glued back into place, but sometimes got a little lean. And that can matter because it adjusts the position that your guitar is technically intonating to. And that makes those first open strings just a little bit different in position in relation to your frets. It's not a huge deal, but it's something that in an open chord could actually make a difference in how your guitar sounds tuned. So in any case, not a big deal, but good to make it right. And so in this case, I had to square out the slot itself, and so you want to use something that's really good for measuring the precision of how square something is, as well as you want to make sure that the nut itself is square. And this is actually a pretty well made nut. I don't know if it was stock, I don't know if these came with bone nuts from the factory back then, but generally pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit of trajectory work on the actual nut itself, so the tuning stability is good going across to the tuning keys. But one thing that, I'll show you the guitar. So this is a Flying V from, I believe he said it was 2001, an Epiphone. Love these guitars, they're great. But when you go to seat your nut, something that I think is a good note, because I get asked this question actually fairly often, I prefer, especially on these shelf nuts, to put a dab of glue kind of right along where the A string would be and where the B string would be, above the bottom of the nut on the side going into the fretboard. And the reason being is then you're gluing the nut to the end grain of the fretboard, and the reason that that is good is because that is an area where glue is going to grab the least amount. And so all you're looking to do is during string changes ensure that this thing is seated properly and staying where it needs to go. Doesn't really affect, and I don't want to get into wars with people, but it doesn't really affect tone, in my opinion. So in this case, you want to make sure that you have a square seat. You want to make sure that the nut itself is square so it sits in. And then I like gluing it on the front side so that when you go to pop it out later with a chisel, a wide chisel, and I like to use a wide chisel with a little bit of masking tape on it, and just tap it and then pops out, no problem. If you go on the bottom, you run the risk of tearing wood out with you, and ask me how I know that.